Hi guys, welcome back. Well, I was hoping that I would be able to film 3 or 4 videos tonight, but I'm not 100% sure that's gonna work. My throat is still just like, it's not doing well. It's not holding up right. We're gonna do the best that we can. We're gonna do a little bit shorter one, and it is called The Last 10 Books Book Tag. And to my knowledge, the original creator of this was a YouTuber by the name of Mark Nash. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. Question number 1: the last book you didn't finish. This one's going to be Big Little Lies. I just really have a hard time with this. Is the second book by this author. I also DNF'd the other one. It was her newer one called Apples Fall All the Way Down. Little Lies is a book that I've kind of had on my radar for a while because a YouTuber that I really enjoy watching, it's his favorite book, and it does sound really, really good. Like, you have all these people and all these characters, and because of all their little lies, it boils over and turns into somebody being dead. And so you have to find out this like mystery of like how that happened, who did it. And it sounds so incredibly good. But the reading experience was like so slow, so much exposition on getting to know all these characters, and I just feel like I didn't care about the characters that much. Like, I just wanted to get to the point of like, what are they lying about? And I know that's really unfair because one of those books, like, you just have to like soak it in, and then it'll all start making sense to you as you go along. But I just feel like it required a lot of patience of me. Stories that are like this, I don't know. I don't know what the grab has to be for me to want, like, to be sucked in by it. And it could very well just be that this was the wrong time for me for this book. But there is a movie about it, and I kind of feel like in the back of my mind, I'm like, the movie would be so much faster because it did feel like so long. Question number 2 is the last book that you reread, and I'm actually kind of reading it right now, and that is Throne of Glass. I read this probably about this time last year, I want to say. I was not doing a lot of YouTube back then, and I've recently met a lot of people who are reading the books, and I took a big hiatus between Queen of Shadows, and then I also recently learned of this very like specific way to read them to get the most out of them, like the tandem book reading order and stuff like that. So I've decided to reread Throne of Glass, and I barely just started that one. So I guess I haven't fully reread it, but it's a work in progress. I'm counting it. Question number 3, the last book that you bought. Ooh, I knew I wanted to do this video downstairs in the library because I have my stack of hauled books. I guess I'll run down there and see what I got. Okay, well, it's not so much one book because I bought a few books at the last place that I went to. But here's one of them. And conveniently, this book was upstairs already, so I'm just going to share one because I will have a haul video coming up and you can see all of them then. But this is called All the Horses of Iceland by Sarah Tolmie, and I really was attracted to this book because A, Iceland, and it's really short. And here's what the back says. A hypnotic historical fantasy with gorgeous and unusual literary prose from the captivating author of The Fourth Island. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of this author before. Everyone knows of the horses of Iceland, wild and small and free, but few have heard their story. Sarah Tolmie's All the Horses of Iceland weaves their mystical origin into the saga for the modern age, filled with the magic and darkened whispers of the people of the cusp of major cultural change. All the Horses of Iceland tells the tale of the Norse trader, his travels through Central Asia, and the ghostly magic that followed him home to the land of fire, stone, and ice. His search for riches will take him from Helmgard through Khazaria, I don't know if I'm saying that right, to the steppes of Mongolia, where he will barter for horses and return with much, much more. All the Horses of Iceland is a delve into the secret imagined history. Question number 4 is the last book you said you read but didn't. I really don't lie. I may have said that I had planned to read a book, which I didn't get around to, but I really have no reason to lie if I read a book but didn't. I'm not going to be that person. I guess I've met some people that just lie over the stupidest stuff, so I guess it could be a thing. Those aren't the people that I talk to, but hey. Question number 5, the last book that you wrote in the margins of. That would be Throne of Glass. Oh, this one I'm going to have to go get the book too because it's amazing. Hold on. Question number 6, the last book that you had signed. Now, I don't really go to book signings. I've acquired some books that already came pre-signed, except for one, and this is my baby. I should really put it in a box. That is this giant Buffy compendium. It was signed by Georges, who is... I'm sorry, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, but it was signed by Georges Genty. See here, this right here. This illustrator. He drew a little Buffy face in the cover for me, and that is so cool. So I actually have a scythe weapon that I took for my Comic-Con costume, and he signed that as well, but unfortunately with all the efforts that I put into trying to preserve it, it is gone. It is faded. It's a cool story. Either way, yeah. Question number 7 is the last book that you lost. And I can't recall. I can't really recall. I don't think I've lost any books. I'm really good at keeping track of things, but I tend to misplace my keys, my phone, or my wallet. But hey, as long as the books don't get lost, we're all good. Number 8 is the last book you had to replace. That would be Running with Scissors by Augustin Burroughs. This is a book that I read so many years ago, and I read it because I watched the movie, and the movie was so weird and bizarre that I ended up picking up the book. I don't know if I had owned the book and got rid of it. This was way before I started collecting a library of books. Yeah, I definitely needed to own a copy of this. I want to give it a reread, and I want to talk about this book more because it is truly something else. Number 9 is the last book that you had an argument over. I would not say that I had an argument in the literal sense. I definitely stated my opposing opinions to specific criticisms. I've had people tell me how I'm wrong for my opinions on a book, but I really don't engage with them whatsoever. In particular, a specific book that I had done a rant review on my channel had probably gotten the most comments than any of my other videos, oddly enough. I've actually found entertainment in reading their incredibly, excessively long comments, basically expressing to me how I didn't understand the book, I didn't understand the characters, I'm unsympathetic to LGBTQ, I'm unsympathetic to immigrants, I believe, and a whole other plethora of reasons why I didn't understand the book. There was one in particular I felt dug in incredibly deep, and I will give it to them. Maybe I did not get the same message out of the book that reader obviously got out of the book. I just decided to brush it off. For a second there, just a little second, I did feel kind of bad and considered maybe taking my video down because perhaps maybe it didn't deserve the hate that I gave it. But at the end of the day, it was my initial feelings. I am proud of that video, even if it's offensive. And I still don't think, looking back, I still don't think my opinions will change on that book. I just didn't like it. And that's okay. I hope that the next commenter will be someone who feels similar to the way that I feel, and we can talk about it together and be on the same page instead of that video only getting attention from people who don't agree with me. That would be really cool. I just absolutely love missing footage. I was editing this video and all of a sudden it stopped, and I dug around through all my files looking for more files, and there wasn't any. And the last question number 10, the last book you couldn't get a hold of. I feel that I'm really lucky and I don't really have a hard time getting a hold of books that I want, if there is a book that I really, really wanted, I would just go to Amazon. And I don't really collect rare books, or I don't necessarily think I read extremely obscure books that are really difficult or out of print or anything like that. But I do prefer to get my books thrifted. So if there is something that I'm looking for that I refuse to pay full price on, then I guess in that respect, it's hard to get a hold of books. One book in particular that I think is one of the craziest things to me that it's actually difficult to get a hold of is the Bloodlines series. Copies of the Bloodlines series, which is the second sequel series to Vampire Academy series. I have been keeping my eye out at used bookstores, thrift stores for the other books in that series. I acquired, like for a really long time, I acquired Bloodlines a couple years ago, and then I most recently found Golden Lily, and there's still like 3 more books to the series, and I just find it crazy that they don't pop up in used bookstores more often, because I see the Vampire Academy books all the time, and you would think that kind of the same thing, people would buy those books, read them, but there would be a huge turnaround in bookstores, like people being over the young adult, over the vampire thing, making room for new books, that sort of thing. And I'm just really surprised that I don't see more of them coming through on the thrifted side of things. So, and that finally concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.